You do not have much time left. That's the title of this video. And what I want to make abundantly clear is that this video is going to be different from a lot, because I'm going to try and change the way that you think about the past and the future, because things are rapidly evolving. But 2 years ago, they weren't. And I set out, my personal mission was to teach as many people as I can 2 years ago something very different, a different way of thinking. And I ran into two people that jumped on my challenge. I met a couple of subscribers at a barbecue joint on I-5 in California the other day. It was awesome to talk to them. And I met a gentleman in Home Depot yesterday in another part of the state. And 2 years ago, I set out to teach you how to see real estate cycles. Now, this story out of Fox News is very important, because just the headline alone shows you what's happening, but most people do not understand what's coming. And what they're going to do is there's about to be a lot of fear in the markets. This is the title out of Fox News. Mortgage rates fall again, but home sales still lag. Now, this channel has attracted a handful, a very small group of people that are defeatists, because a long time ago, I did some prepping videos, because it's very important that a wise man knows to prepare for, even though there's good times today, he prepares for bad times in the future, so that when the bad times come, like let's say there's a shortage of food, there's a problem with the drinking water system, an economic crash, the wise man doesn't have to go through what the foolish man didn't prepare for, right? Sure, things are a little slow, business is slow, but I have food in my belly, my children are fed, I have clean water, and I have a savings account, right? And a wise man also knows during those times when there's lots of foolish people that are reeling, like what's going on right now. There are so many people that you don't realize are reeling in this whole scenario of inflation, right? There are people, that's the reason why Dollar Tree is hurting. Best Buy is closing stores. Big Lots are closing down stores. Companies are claiming bankruptcy, because most people are reeling in the fact that they don't make enough money to live like they were living a year or two ago. Okay, so the crash has begun. But 2 years ago, I wanted to be on record. I did this on the channel, and I went really in depth with that real estate crash course, how to identify all these cycles, so that when they happen, I wanted to show you that a good instructor, a good teacher, has not only the knowledge of a subject, but the past experience, the mental slides in their head to teach someone, so that where they can become a teacher. That's my goal, is to teach future teachers, right? And not a lot of people understand that. And I called a YouTuber, you don't know, we're buddies, we don't ever do any collaborations out of Vegas. And I told him, I said, the next big cycle that we're going to go through, we're going to flip a bunch of exotic cars, right? Because you know my story, that I've always wanted to do that. I have not flipped yachts, jets, or exotic cars yet. I've flipped everything else. And I'm going to do that during this next crash on the channel and show people, because you'll be shocked at how much a really nice yacht, a 60-foot yacht costs. During the last crash, I was able to, I was watching them sell for, like $250,000. And you could flip them for, $750,000. Sorry, I don't want to get off the topic. But my point being is that real estate is the key to wealth for most of the nation. It is the easiest way to gain wealth, bar none. And that's what I set out to do, is to teach people how to buy it through real estate, how to make their money through real estate. And I told this other YouTuber, I said, remember during the Great Depression, everybody focused on one person, one. And that one person was a statistic, because unemployment was at 25%. And it was just, the country was reeling. That's all you heard about was the bad stories. But you didn't hear about the fact that there were more millionaires made during the Great Depression than any time before in history. That meant that 1 out of 4 people lost their jobs, but that meant 3 people had their jobs. And I told this YouTuber, I said, because sometimes he's going to watch this too. Sometimes he's a little negative, and I'm super positive, right? Because I can be positive, because if I know what's coming ahead and I'm prepared for it, I'm foaming at the mouth to go and make as much money as I can. And right now, help as many people as I can, wake them up. And I said, nobody focused on the 3 that had the job. And that's what I did during the Great Recession. I made a lot of money. I started with, I saved up $8,000, bought my first tractor, and I made almost $450,000 in 2 years selling heavy equipment from contractors that were losing their businesses or just trying to get by and selling me their bobcats, their excavators, all of that kind of stuff. Now, during a downtime, that money went to good use. During the 2015 run, 2015 to 20, or actually it was like what, 2013 to 2017, I was making well over 6 figures a year selling trailers to people that had lost their houses, their family members that had lost their houses and were going to live on their family's land after the Great Recession. I made a lot of money doing that. And then I put it in crypto. My point being is that there are these opportunities that are coming and you don't have a lot of time left because it's starting. I'm gonna put an 80% off discount link to the housing crash. And this is why I'm gonna do this down below. If you'd like to look at this, 80% off. That channel, that course was set as a living course, which means I continually, every so many months or every 6 months, I put on new lessons as things change. But I want people to learn what happened 2 years ago and how I taught what these real estate cycles were and what was going to come next, so that my students, and they're doing it right now, are emailing me and saying, it's happening just like you said. And now that gives them a conviction that very few people in this world have to get ready to pull the trigger at a special point. Well, I'm going to start doing in the next couple of weeks a couple of more cycle updates to show people where we are in the current cycle so that the students get more information. But what I think is going to be the most valuable part of that course, and this is why I don't do, I've priced out courses and taken courses that cost thousands and thousands. If not, there are courses out there that will charge you $30,000 to $50,000 to teach what I teach. And I don't think that's right, because I want this information in the right hands. But just like one subscriber the other day had purchased the course and I said, what did you get out of it? And he goes, I haven't taken it yet. And I'm like, you are robbing yourself right now. Go take that course. Then I run into another subscriber at Home Depot that had taken the course 2 years ago. And he told me about how much his life has changed because both him and his wife completely, a switch was flipped in their head. And he was telling me about everything he had purchased lately and how good they were doing as far as building up their war chest to take advantage of this real estate crash. And I'm hoping to have him on the channel tomorrow and just go live with him to tell you his story, because I think this is extremely important. But you have to have skin in the game. And what's sad to me is there are a lot of people that have bought that course and they have not taken it, and they are robbing themselves. I have actually sent out an email before saying, why aren't you taking this? Please take this. This information is useless unless you know it and you got it in your mind. Now, this story out of Fox saying mortgage rates fall again, but home sales still lag. This is a part in the cycle that most people don't understand that is very important, because inventory is about to explode. It already has in lots of parts of the country. I've told you that one of the parts of the country that I want to buy in, we have seen a 3x in inventory since January. And that's compared to even the last year or the year before. It is impressive how much inventory has hit the market. And I told you the other day, I saw one place, a condominium that was listed for 1.2 million. It hit the 60-day mark. They instantly dropped it to $1 million even. A $200,000 price drop. But I'm seeing even better than that in single family homes in this area on a percentage basis. And that's part of the cycle where the most expensive homes fall fast. Right in the beginning, just like right now with cars, you were seeing Lamborghinis, you were seeing those big SUVs that cost a ton of money, right? A year ago, those are collapsing first, right? The payday loan cycle and the cheaper cars are still staying strong, but the expensive ones fall first. And then what happens in the cycle, and it's happening right now with banks start pulling back on lending, whether it be for cars or for homes. So when I say that you have very little time left, the reason why I say that is because you have to have knowledge and understanding inside of you ahead of time, and then an understanding of the market, whatever market it is, whether it be a car auto market or home market. If you don't have that understanding, you are going to fail because you will not be able to identify opportunities. This is what you need to do. Now, let me ask you this. Type 1 if you've never purchased a home before, but you want to. And type 2 if you've purchased a home before and you have never owned rentals, but you've been interested in it. Well, I want to tell you right now as you're typing things, the difference between success and failure is the difference between interested in and committed. Like making a decision. All you have to say is out loud, I'm ready. I'm going to do something this time. And I want you to do this. Type 3, if you are the type of person that didn't take full advantage of the Great Recession, all the deals, whether it be homes, cars, a new job, all of those things, and you regret it to this day. Now, I will tell you, as much money as I made during the Great Recession, I still regret not being even more ready. And I can sit back and keep my head up and say, I'm ready now. I've got it. I've got my multiple bank accounts. I have been saving and preparing for this since 2012 as we were coming out of that cycle. And I said, I will never not be ready. And this is even back then when I was making more money than I'd ever made. But then I saw the advantage of the difference of owning small homes or condominiums as rentals and going and getting 50 and 100 units at a time. A lot more money involved there. More money to buy it, but more profit on the back end. And right now we are in the midst of the greatest commercial real estate collapse in the history of our country for a myriad of reasons. The fact is, the Economic Ninja was the first person in the world to warn about the commercial mortgage-backed securities crisis. And that's exciting for me. Not because I'm a brainiac, but it's because I see things different. And we have all those videos on YouTube warning about it. Even 4 months before Evergrande, the first big commercial lender or builder went under in China, I had done some videos about this, warning everyone about these cycles. And there are a lot of people out there that tell you, hey, it's important to look at what's going on today. Look what's going on today. I don't give a rip about today. I only use today's news headlines to reiterate what I showed you in the past, what's coming in the future. And that's what a good teacher does. A good teacher prepares his or her students for the future. And I would be remiss if I'm sitting on the sidelines right now waiting and then I go out and crush it. And what good would it be for all of you that are watching to watch me succeed? The fact of the matter is I'm here to watch you succeed. My success is 100% based off of your success or failure. Now, I know not everybody is the type of person that's gonna take action. But when I say you don't have a lot of time left, it's because the crash has already started. And it's a multi-year thing. And that's good, that's exciting because you have some time, right? But when you go through this, every single one of you, when you meet, we will say, you were right, Ninja. I wish I had more time. You know, there's a story in the Bible about Joseph. And it's a long story, based off of a dream, and he went from a prison to being in charge of an entire city's finances. But the gist of the dream was that during a time of amazing abundance, where crops were growing, the city was flourishing, the country was flourishing, there was a warning that a famine was coming. And so what most human beings fail to understand is during good times, the good times will never always last a long time. There's always a dip, there's always a correction. We always revert to the mean, and then we overshoot, right? And the warning was that you need to start storing up grain. So during the good times, they filled up a barn. And then you know what they said? Let's fill up another barn. Let's fill up another barn. And during the famine, that country was able to not only survive, but thrive because they were able to sell the grain to the surrounding countries that didn't prepare and that were in a famine. So those countries lost their gold, they lost their riches, their wealth. They thought they were on top of it. And this country became the wealthiest country on earth. It was Egypt. And then it ran the world because it had prepared and it started selling its grain and food to other countries. This is important to note in your own personal life. Now, I want to ask you a very serious question. And I know we just went over the headline, but that's all you need to know on this one. Real estate interest rates, borrowing rates are dropping and nobody's buying homes. And inventory is still at the tightest levels. It's tighter than 2008. 2008 was the worst year for home sales. We're below it. That means this crash is going to be better. And as more and more people wake up and go, whoa, what do you mean prices are dipping? I just sold my house. And I believe that in 6 months, will be able to report back to you that I got the highest dollar per square foot in my town, my city, during this cycle. And I can't wait to share that with you and how I did it. I love teaching people because I have my gift, and we all have different gifts, is to be able to explain things that most people can understand in a palatable way and then put it to action. So I'm here to ask you one important question. I want you to type it down below. Are you ready to make a stand and make a change for your own life and stop being at the level you've been your whole life and start acting and being a wealthy person? And not only for yourself, but for other people that need help, that will never wake up. If you are that person, say, I'm committed, and then do something about it. Go and start learning, go and start saving, get ready for this. You are now in the cycle. The housing crash has begun, and it began a year and a half ago. I know that sounds crazy, and I did a video about that on the month, calling the top of the housing market. And the Fed chart shows it perfectly, right there to when I did it. And we have this historical information. And the reason why we're not out there doing all these edits, you wanna know why? Because I'm gonna wait until after it's too late. And the gift was everybody that listened to a dork with a goofy haircut that never changes his clothes. And I did this for a reason. Because like my son said, when I was sitting outside of Chicago, trying for an hour and a half to get anyone to talk to me about finance or how to make money, my son said, Dad, if you wore a suit and sat next to a Ferrari or Lamborghini, you'd have a line. But I was still the same person. You see, the reason why this channel is the Economic Ninja is because true ninjas have all the authority and power to do something and to make change, but they only do it when it's completely necessary. They don't brag, they don't boast. Sometimes they have to show a little show of force to push off an opponent. But I hope you understand why I did this the way I did. I hope to interview the subscriber that took that course and what it's done for him and his family and how he is ready to rock and roll. And I hope some of you take advantage of this. Yes, I do make money from it. This is how I'm making my living now. You know, I used to get mocked at the fire station. There were a lot of guys that were really cocky. They said, those who do, and those who can't teach. Those were the words of foolish men, truly, because a lot of us can do both. So I did it. I hope you got something out of this. There's an 80% off link down below if you want to take advantage of this. And I'll tell you what I'll do. If after 14 days, within 14 days, if you watch less than 50% of the content and you say, this isn't for me, this isn't going to change my life, it didn't open up my mind to something completely different, I'm not going to be able to save tens of thousands of dollars on my next home purchase because I'm going to understand the timing and how to do it right. I'll give you your money back. So you get that for 199 bucks. Let me know down below what you think about all this. I can't wait to do this. Hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.